Ultimate 2, capital G here, looking at some more Collector's Pack 17 and some really excellent Water Synchro monsters. Specifically, these cards are really good, and I think that they are definitely noteworthy in the Mermail deck, especially considering Deep Sea Diva has always been a fantastic card in that deck, especially if you're running Synchro monsters that are 6 and 8, which is exactly what these guys are. And we have another card that's it's kind of just, I guess, part of the little theme that they have going here. This guy is really not that good. I'm mainly making this video to talk about the new Amazing Synchro. So let's start out with the card that's not all that good. It's called White Murray. It is a level 2 waterfish monster, 600 attack, 200 defense. During the turn that this card is normal summon, it can attack your opponent's life points directly. Effect number 2, if this card is special summoned from the graveyard, you can have this card be treated as a tuner until the end of the turn. Honestly, I don't really care about either one of these effects. I don't really like this card that much at all. I wouldn't really advocate playing this in Mermail. Number one, it would be one thing if it like summoned itself back from the graveyard. I really don't know why it isn't always treated as a tuner. That's kind of weird. And then the first effect, being able to attack directly, it's like, who cares? It's a 600 attack monster. If this guy would have been like 1200, 1400, something like that, okay, you know, maybe we're getting somewhere, but no one cares that a 600 attack monster can attack directly. This one is obviously like the terrible card in the bunch, but the synchros are where it's at. These synchros are very good. So the first one is White Aura Dolphin. Level 6 water fish, 2400 attack, 1000 defense, 2400, 1000 excellent stat line for a level 6 monster. It is generic, requires a tuner plus a non-tuner monster. First effect says once per turn you can target one face-up monster your opponent controls. That monster's current attack becomes half its original attack until the end of the turn. Okay, so it's got a built-in shrink, which means outside of monsters like Utopia the Lightning or weird things like Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon that have effects that can alter their attack during the damage step, this guy should be able to run over just about anything on the field. Your opponent is probably not going to have a monster that after it's cut in half is still going to be like 2500 attack. So I like that, just running things over. The second effect is what really makes this guy nice. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card, battle, or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish one water monster from your graveyard except this card, special summon this card, but it is treated as a tuner. It being treated as a tuner thing is a little weird, although it does make the level 8, the next one I'm going to talk about, a little easier to summon. I just like that this fucking card can come back by banishing water monsters. If you're playing this in Mermail, everyone knows that the Mermail deck goes off super hard in its first turn. A lot of times you see people drop Moulin Glacier turn 1, and that means that you have at least 5 water monsters in your graveyard. So I mean, if you can get this on board, you know how many times your opponent's gonna have to kill this damn thing until it actually stays dead. Mermail is a deck that after turn 1 it doesn't care about its graveyard because there is no more title. It doesn't use it as a secondary resource like other decks to grind. The graveyard just becomes an expendable resource that you really have never had much use for. Now you finally have a use for that. All those cards in your graveyard, you can just keep banishing them to summon this. In fact, these synchros, and because of these second effects, they might become so much of a problem. Your opponent might just want to kaiju this instead of like kaijuing a totally awesome. Then we have the biggest synchro form, and this is the level 8. This is White Aura Whale. Every time I see like this artwork, it kind of reminds me of the freaking whale from ReZero. If you guys ever saw that anime, man, it was like 3 or 4 episodes where you're fighting that fucking whale. Was awesome. Level 8, it is a fish type. It's synchro, 2800 attack, 2000 defense. Now this one requires you pretty much to commit to a water deck. This one requires you to run Mermail, but not a problem in that deck. Deep Sea Diva again, and this guy can become a tuner as well. This requires one water tuner plus one or more non-tuner water monsters. When this card is synchroed, you can destroy all attack position monsters your opponent controls. I mean, hallelujah to field removal. Like, who doesn't like mass removal, man? Most people aren't setting many monsters right now. I know that sometimes Zodiac will put some of their monsters in defense position, like Dryadent and the Xyz that don't have, like, you know, a whole bunch of materials on them, but still, a really good effect. Like a basically a field hammer shot, or I guess it's one of those red dragon cards that pretty much does the same thing. Effect number 2, this card can make up to 2 attacks on monsters your opponent controls during each battle phase. Not bad. Effect number 3, I like even more. If this card attacks a defense position monster, inflict piercing damage to your opponent. That's pretty good on a 2800 attack monster. The 4th effect, again, is what really makes this card very viable. If this card is destroyed by an opponent's card by battle or card effect and sent to the graveyard, you can banish one water monster in your graveyard, except this card, special summon it, but it is treated as a tuner. I think that it being treated as a tuner as a level 8 monster is super weird, but I think that these cards are just excellent. And depending on how much space you have in Mermail, I think 100% I would add in the level 6. This Dolphin dude, yeah, because I'm pretty sure that there are Mermail players who are running things like Delorean and Gungnir and probably have a bunch of space in their extra deck. Like for a card like this that can die and just constantly bring itself back 3+ times, I would definitely run this. The 8 is not quite as easy to make, but if you do make the 6 and it comes back, you know, you could just have a heavy infantry plus the 6 and you can make the 8. I just feel like the 8 you might not need to run it, because by that time you probably already like won the door or something like that. But these are really good cards because I like the fact that they let you grind, and they're both cards that let you do a good amount of damage. This one has piercing damage. This one lets you run over pretty much any monster in battle. This one also blows up monsters when your opponent has them in attack position. These are very solid cards, very good support for Mermail. So what do you guys think? Are these cards that you guys would play in Mermail? I wouldn't even mess with this one. I think this card's crap. If there's some way to break this card, please let me know. I don't even like, it's just bad. But these two are amazing. So leave that in the comment section below. Thank you guys for watching as always, and subscribe if you have not already.